Remember, Leo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we have the Queen of Swords. Now, this card is showing that you are in a very clear head right now, that you're making decisions based on logic, based on truth, based on, like, objective reality, okay? Not based on emotion, not based on manipulation. You're seeing things for what they are. You're seeing things clearly, and you're making appropriate decisions. And this is very important for you because I think that clearing away all of that stuff, all of that nonsense in your life, right, is opening up the doorways to much, much better things. Let's go deeper into this card. We're going to use our Dove and Serpent spread. There's your strength. At 9 of Wands, the strength to make the difficult decisions, right? The strength to really to see things clearly. It's easy to bury your head in the sand, okay? Nice High Priestess there going forward. We have a little Princess of Pentacles, a little Hanged Man, a Princess of Wands, and a 6 of Wands. This Jupiter in Leo energy is very, very good for you here at the end, the 6 of Wands. It really, I think it's building this, a level of trust in yourself, you know, especially with this High Priestess, trusting that you know how to make good decisions, trusting that you can be strong and you can see things for what they are and you can say, this has got to go. You have the ability to cut things out of your life. And I think that is very critical in your life right now because of the opportunities that are opening up for you. I feel like you're sort of trimming some of the excess from your life. You're trimming away some of those, like, just some things that have been too draining on your energy, or things that aren't really meant for you, or things that aren't resonating with you. You're able to cut things off quick and painlessly. You're going to say, this over here, that's got to go. You know? Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the Factor Infinite and Unknown. We're going to set it here with Alien Simon Mork Ripley right there on top. Now, we're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card is, put a prediction in the comments, okay? As we look around the room here, we see our 2 major Arcana cards. And I love these 2 because why? Well, because they fit together like a puzzle piece. They fit together like 2 pieces of a very important puzzle. Let me show you this. The Hanged Man and the High Priestess are meant to go together. Because what it is surrender to that cosmic consciousness, surrendering to God, Goddess, Deity, surrendering to the intuition. You know, taking the hand of the High Priestess, because the High Priestess is guiding us to our best life. Your intuition is showing you where you need to make some sacrifices, where you need to let some things go, where we need to surrender to the will of the divine in us, right? To the universe or to the flow, to the will or to the Tao or whatever you want to call it. Surrendering to your own inner knowing. You know, accepting what you know to be the truth inside of you and allowing that to guide your, in a way, guide your choices and guide your sacrifices. Sometimes the High Priestess will drag us through the briar patch to get us to our best life. Sometimes the High Priestess will drag us away from something that we thought we wanted, and it's not always easy to do that, you know. But you're trusting in your own inner knowing. Regardless of your spiritual beliefs or what you think the sort of cosmic consciousness is, or that higher power, that mystery of the universe is, it's flowing through you, guiding your choices. And you're trusting in that. And anyway, it's given you fire, fire, fire. There's not really any water here, is there? There's some water here in the Hanged Man is all the water. The Hanged Man is you giving up all your waters, blood, sweat, and tears. Okay? Blood, sweat, and tears, because that's what you know to be the right thing to do. And you've got to be strong because that High Priestess is guiding you, okay, through the next I would say the next couple weeks of your life. Okay? Getting more and more clarity about what is meant for you and what's not meant for you. We have air, we've got earth, earth, and earth. So, anyway, the Queen of Swords is that discernment. The Queen of Swords is seeing things for what they are. It is the discernment of truth. It's the realization. It's the insight. It's a sharp and very honest realization that's empowering you, strength, right? Strengthening you, empowering you to make a clean and self-respecting choice. Your perception is sharp. Trust it. You've looked at something with kind of that higher insight. I don't want to say like pure logic, but like a clear mind that is receptive to that cosmic consciousness. You see, the Queen of Swords is up in the air. She's not down there by the water. She's up in the upper atmosphere where the mind, the conscious human mind, meets the cosmic consciousness, basically where the atmosphere meets outer space. You know, right there at that threshold where the two can interact. So that's what this card is, that your mind has risen up to that divine level and is receiving that intuition. And you're not being stirred or steered by your emotions, but by that clear spiritual wisdom. You see? And it's enabling you to see something truly for what it really truly is. And I think that you're cutting through some nonsense, you're cutting through some drama, cutting through some manipulation. You're looking at reality. You're able to make a clean break. Okay? You're trusting your assessment of this situation, and you're going to be strong. Because I think your intuition is telling you that this needs to end. That it needs to go. A lot of this card is about you trusting, okay, yourself, trusting your perception. You've looked at something and you realize that you're going to need to be strong here. And something's got to go. Okay. This Nine of Wands is like we're tired. It's testing us. It's pushing us, but we're going to we're going to follow through with something, okay? Something is kind of testing your strength. There's resilience here. It's basically saying, like, this is the card that says, I can do hard things. I can do this. It's not going to destroy you, okay? You're resisting the pressure to fold, to kind of give in, to acquiesce, to just say, okay, fine. Fine, I'll keep it. Fine, I'll stay here. Fine, we can try it one more time, you know? I think that your instinct here, your gut is telling you this needs to end. There's nothing here. There's no reason to try. There's no reason to keep going with a particular relationship or a particular belief or a particular path or a plan. Okay? Or allowing some kind of a dynamic to continue to exist. This is you protecting yourself and protecting your path. And this is a very challenging and very testing situation for you. But you can do hard things. Okay? Your first commitment is to you. This is your backbone. This is you really, I think, with that wisdom and discernment saying, I'm not going to put up with this. I have to be strong and I have to resist something. Because it kind of feels like somebody or something is like trying to get you to just come back, try again, stay here, give me another chance. You know? Trying to get you to fold, trying to get you to bend. But you can do hard things. You're holding your ground on something important to you. And I think that, Leo, for you, when you say it's over, it's over. When you say you're done with something, it's done. You know, there's no bringing it back. And that's what we have down here with the Ten of Swords. This is you getting out of the birdcage. This is saying, I'm done. There's no reason for me to stay in this particular relationship or place or belief system or this particular attitude or whatever it might be for you. Something is ending. You're getting out of the birdcage. No matter how tempting it is to stay in the birdcage, no matter how much the other birds are like, stay here with us, you're saying, no, I've got to go. This is a final ending. You're releasing something. You're accepting that this thing ends and new possibilities are going to come. And so this feels like a win. It feels like a victory, right? Because you're mentally done with something. You're not going to resurrect something that clearly isn't working. And you're resisting that emotional pressure that's just like, maybe I'll try it one more time. You know, maybe I'll forgive and forget and we'll try again, you know. Letting yourself acknowledge, this is done, this is over. Not letting our emotions, kind of tempt us to stay in that birdcage. And we're saying, okay, we're not going to sugarcoat it. It's done. And now that it's done, new things can begin. You know, this isn't a big dramatic gesture. This is simple, powerful acceptance. And really, I think you're advocating. And you're standing up and you're saying, I'm done with this. And there's nothing anyone can say or do that's going to get you to just say, okay, fine, I'll try it again. Okay, let me squeeze back in the birdcage there and you can shut and lock the door. That's okay. I'll give it one more time, one more try, you know. It's okay for you to put that down. It's okay for you to end that thing. Whatever it might be. Maybe it was a plan that you had. Maybe it was a goal that you had in mind, and this is you saying, okay, as tempting as it might be for me to I don't want to let it go because maybe it hits our pride, you know. Let's say you have a path for a particular, you're going to try to do a business or a YouTube channel or, you know, some kind of a course that you'd plotted toward a goal, right? And you could let your pride interfere. And we're going to stick to it no matter what. Well, that could be very damaging, right? At some point, we have to just say, okay, that didn't work. I'm moving on from that. I don't have to sit here and stay in this birdcage and stay trapped just because I don't want to admit that, hey, you know, it didn't work and I need to figure something else out. It's not the end of the book. It's just saying this chapter's over, okay? And I think that now you're free to imagine life outside that birdcage. Let it end, okay? Because that collapse is clearing the ground for something true and real and something more productive. There's nothing here. There's no meat on the bones. Certainly no nourishment. By letting this fall away, you're able to begin the new thing that's saying, okay, this is a new investment. This one, I put my time, effort, energy, money, and space into it. Well, it didn't work. Okay, fine. What's this one over here? This is going to be the one. Okay? But if we stay here, we're not going to see this opportunity and we're not going to be able to begin that new thing. You see? We're not going to, this is us clearing the ground for a new endeavor. Okay, and we'll talk about that card. The Ace of Pentacles here in the background, I feel like this was a seed that you had planted. This was the start of something, right? This was maybe an opportunity. Okay, this was something. Maybe it was money. Maybe it's the beginning of the relationship. Maybe it's something at work. Maybe it's something at home or whatever, right? You took that step. Okay, it was an opportunity. And it was perhaps an investment. And maybe it's something like it was the job, or it was the budget, or it was the plan, or it was the idea that you had, and you say, okay, I'm going to try it, and maybe it'll work. Okay, but you kept your expectations realistic, because this was a seed of something. Not every seed is going to grow into the big tree, right? And I feel like, obviously, with the Eight of Pentacles, that's what you're hoping for, is that it grows into a tree. I don't think this one did. Maybe this was a relationship. Maybe it's saying, hey, you know what? I can try and see where it goes. But you have that wisdom and that discernment and that strength to know when it's not working, you can let it go. You don't have to stay chained to it or committed to it or stay there because of the pride or because I'm too scared to break up with somebody, you know. He's saying, let's give it a go. Let's see how it works out. You have to be, it's important here because it's showing that you have an ability to take risks. This is the risk taker, Princess of Wands. You have the ability to take risks knowing, and that's why you need the strength. Because you know when it's just time to sell. It's time to get out of this business deal. It's time to get out of this relationship or out of this situation. It's not working anymore. Okay? And you're not fleeing because you're scared, but you're not staying because you're scared either. You're able to look at it objectively and say, with my Queen of Swords energy, I'm looking at this thing and I'm seeing it for what it is, and it's not working. I've tried different techniques. I've tried many times. I've given you a second, a third chance, a fourth chance, a fifth chance. There's no more chances. Time's up. Okay? Time's up, and it's time to plant another seed somewhere else. It's time to start something new in a different place. Okay? And so I think that you're strong enough to realize that. Yeah. Because I think what you want, obviously, is something that's long-term. And you have to be willing to take risks in order to get, the real goal, the real long-term stability that you're after. You got to take risks. You got to plant a lot of seeds. Some of those seeds aren't going to work. If you don't have a risk tolerance, don't start something like this, because then you'll feel kind of locked in, or you'll be too moved by your fear, by your emotions. The ups and downs of life will manipulate your decisions, will influence your decisions. So that's why you don't have any water energy right now, because you're not letting your emotions drive the bus. You're looking at something objectively and you're determining whether or not this is still worth pursuing or if it's not worth pursuing. Do I need to change course? Do I need to put this one down and start something new? Invest in something new? Or maybe taking your investment, taking your idea and investing it somewhere else. Maybe this is your ability to try things. This is your ability to take that risk, to invest in something, to take the first step. And you're willing to take the first step because you know that if it doesn't work out, you can always step off. Yeah? That you don't have to be stuck with something. That's what we're trying to say. So I wonder if this is your time, effort, energy, money, space, and spirit, and this is now you're kind of taking your resources and you're investing in something different now. Because this wasn't it. What you're hoping for is the Eight of Pentacles. You're hoping for something that can grow deep roots, very strong trunk, lots of branches, lots of fruit. Okay. You're hoping for something that is long-term nourishment. Something that will be around for a long time. Something that is stable. Something that is satisfying long-term payoff. Yeah. Investing in that satisfying long-term payoff. And I think that you're recognizing that this is what you want, this is what you got. There's an incongruence here, What I want and what I got are two different things. So if we recognize that, okay, the roots didn't take hold. This is something that didn't quite sprout. It didn't bear fruit like I thought it would. Okay. No hard feelings. It's just time. It's time to go to a different venue. Okay. And I don't think it's through a lack of trying. I don't think it's through anything that you've done wrong. I don't think it's really about anything that like anybody did wrong. I think it's just something didn't grow. It didn't take hold. You know what I mean? Like the roots didn't really dig into the soil and create stability. It just didn't work. Okay. You're not chasing quick validation, right? You're building something long term. And you're able to really see the nuance of the thing. And you're really able to, I think you have a really detailed vision of what it is that you want in life. And if this didn't fit the bill, you're strong enough to say, okay, I took a risk. It was a gamble. It didn't pay off. That's okay. Because now I can go forward and I can invest somewhere else. Now your high priestess going forward, this is your inner knowing. This is you trusting in your gut, trusting in your instinct. And sometimes you trust your instinct and you trust your intuition, and it leads you somewhere that doesn't feel like it really worked, you know. So sometimes our intuition will lead us through some learning experiences, you know. Not everything that we get, you know, we feel like, well, if I trust my intuition, then I should never make a mistake, right? Then everything should always be perfect, right? If I'm always trusting my intuition, and my intuition is always leading me to my best life, why would my intuition ever lead me through a birdcage or through a failure or through a challenge, or why would I ever have to end anything? You know, because everything should be perfect, right? Everything should be right. No, sometimes we have to go through a series of the wrong things before we get to the right thing. Sometimes that is our growth. That is our learning process. That is where we are tempered and trained and refined into the person that we need to become in order to handle and in order to create and achieve what really is meant for us. Okay. This is the answer that you know to be true inside of you. Okay. You know the right direction. Your soul is speaking to you. Yeah. The signal's already there. There's an inner knowing. And I think it's undeniable, and you're trusting this, and you're moving forward, and you're continuing to trust your intuition and trust your higher wisdom and your discernment, because it's telling you that, look, it may be difficult, but this, you need to venture out of this. This isn't working for you. There's no nourishment here anymore. Okay. And I think your intuition has been louder lately. But I think that this is, you're trusting this. As you move forward in life, you're trusting in your intuition. You're listening, because that signal is there. And whatever this is, if it's a relationship, if it's the business thing, I think you're able to kind of like see things beneath the surface. You're able to see like, okay, maybe the tree looks good and it looks fine from the outside, but maybe you can see underneath it and you can see it doesn't have any roots. You're able to kind of to see those subtle things that just tell you, okay, I got to move. I got to go in a different direction now. Maybe everybody else, they only see this. Oh, look at the fruit. Oh, it's wonderful. I love this. But you're saying, I'm out of here. As I know that there's nothing underneath it. There are no roots. That thing, the one gentle breeze, and this tree is going to flop over if it doesn't have roots. So I think that's kind of, that's part of what your intuition is telling you, okay? Now, on the path of the serpent, we do have the Princess of Pentacles. This is a new beginning. This is finding a worthwhile investment, identifying something else that you can begin, that you can start. It's kind of like, and it doesn't mean that you're jumping from one thing to the next. It doesn't mean that you're so desperate for an investment that, you're just going to just keep jumping from one thing to the next until you find the right thing. But this is you realizing that by clearing away what doesn't belong there, you're creating a fertile ground for the right thing to come your way. This is something that has a wonderful potential to it. And it's your life, okay? And your life has this wonderful potential that is not going to arrive if that space is occupied by the wrong stuff. Okay? The right stuff can't grow if our soil, if our garden bed is full of weeds and all the wrong stuff, you know. So this is potential for growth. Yeah. And it may truly be that you're finding, or you will be finding the right investment that can grow into something truly abundant. Okay? And I think that very soon a new practical path is going to emerge, whether it's a job or the skill or the relationship or the right habits or the right lifestyle or whatever it is, but something that you're going to nourish and you're going to nurture, and it's going to grow, and it's going to nurture and nourish you. Okay? So this is the potential that becomes reality. And it's your ability to plant the seed, tend the seed, give it the time, you know, plant it, water it, and watch it and wait. Okay? But if you're spending your effort and you're devoting your resources to trying to revive something that's just not going to grow, then we're just delaying, you know, the growth of the true potential. Okay? Now, in the environment, the Hanged Man, that's kind of the difficult part, is surrendering to that intuition. Okay? There's, you know, a natural desire for us to cling to something and say, no, I don't want to let it go. I can make it work. I can make it work. We can fix this. We can save this. We can revive this. We can resuscitate this. The Hanged Man is saying, I trust in how I'm being guided. I trust in that inner clarity, and I can let things go. Accepting, right? This is the ultimate card of just accepting the inevitable. Accepting that there is a lot in life that we cannot control. And this is something that, despite your efforts, it didn't work. And there's no blame to be handed out. There's no guilt or remorse to it. It's simply letting it go. It's simple acceptance and surrender. But what that's doing is allowing you to then find more opportunities. So that's allowing you to unlock. See, this is what's getting out of the birdcage. Right now, this card's in prison. This is the jail position of the spread. Your enthusiasm, your curiosity has been locked up because we were committed to this. But now that you're out of that birdcage, you're free to explore. You're free to experiment. You're free to, find another good, potential and take a risk. You're free to follow your excitement. You're free to be curious. And this is something that you couldn't do if we were still in that birdcage. If we were still tied up where we were before, then we wouldn't have this ability to explore. This is you outside the birdcage exploring new passions, new possibilities. Okay? Saying yes to things that feel exciting, having that sense of adventure, following your curiosity. Okay? Responding very positively to change. Letting yourself feel that beginner energy again. Saying yes to new things. To see, what might be a worthwhile new investment for you. This is the card that wants to just explore. This is the card that says, let's try it and see. Which is what we did back here. Well, let's try it and see. No, that didn't work. Okay, that wasn't going to be the long-term thing. Let's try this one. Let's see what happens. Because you know that you're strong enough and resilient enough to not be devastated if something doesn't work out perfectly. Okay, it did work out. Yeah, it's fine. Let's keep going. Let's move on. Yeah. And it takes a real strength. And what we have with the Six of Wands is that kind of strength that's leading to leading to victory. So what that means is that by having this strength and this ability to walk away from things and having this discernment, it's going to allow you, guaranteed, that you will find the thing that works for you. Guaranteed. You will be successful, right? And this is a confidence. This is pride. This is saying, it doesn't matter what I have to walk away from. It doesn't matter if this relationship doesn't work out. You're still whole. You're still complete. You're not damaged by that. It doesn't break you. You see? This is you standing tall, regardless, because you're independent, because you don't need this other thing in order for you to feel whole and complete and fulfilled and feeling like you're a sovereign being. You're not losing your sovereignty. In fact, you're regaining it by realizing that, whoops, that wasn't the right thing. Whoops, I made a mistake. It's no big deal. Doesn't mean you're not affected by things like that, but you don't feel diminished. You don't feel crushed. You don't feel ruined or broken by that thing. It's liberating to get out of the birdcage. I like getting out of a birdcage because that means that now I'm free to find what I'm really supposed to have in my life. Endings are beautiful in that way, right? Let's look at the mystery card. Maybe a 9 or a 10 of pentacles, maybe some water energy, right? Maybe it's going to be like a 6 or a 2 of cups, 9 or a 10 of cups. Let's see. The Justice card. Yes, because that's discernment. That's the wisdom and discernment. This is you being able to make those kinds of decisions, not influenced by your feelings, right? But by the intuition, the higher divine cosmic wisdom that's able to say, this isn't working anymore. This doesn't hold weight for me. This isn't going to do it. And maybe it feels a little bit detached. Yeah, but I think that's okay. Because it's objective. I'm seeing things a little bit more clearly. This is that higher wisdom where you are kind of like passing judgment on things. And you're confident in doing that because you believe in yourself. You trust in yourself that you make good decisions. You're strong enough to do hard things. And you're wise enough to make tough decisions. That you feel like you're allowed to judge something as being no longer necessary in your life. And you won't doubt yourself, It's good. Now, if this reading resonated with you, there's an extended version where I go deeper into the message. You can find the link down in the video description. Take what feels true and leave the rest.